Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday morning. This is my very first ever going live while cooking. I can't promise that mistakes won't happen. I can't promise that I won't burn anything, but I'm going to do my best. Today I'm going to be taking and making a Western style type like omelet, which will be more like scrambled eggs than an omelet because I always burn the omelet part. But first, before we get started with any of that, we got to make sure we get some coffee going. So today I'm having Starbucks caramel coffee pods. That's what I'm going to use as my base. Followed by this lovely Maxwell House caramel latte. Simply adding a spoonful for each cup gives you that latte feeling. Sugar-free French vanilla crema, of course. Some great value sugar-free sweetener. So far I've got some turkey that I'm going to cut up. It's individually sliced, so that shouldn't take too long. Some Fiesta Blend cheeses, because Fiesta Blend is amazing. Here's a bunch of eggs. Probably not going to use them all for this particular dish. I've got this lovely assortment of green peppers, red peppers, and onions, as well as a couple of fresh pieces of onion and pepper. We'll be using a Rotel for some of the heat, and we'll also have some lovely little Pennsylvania Dutchman pieces and stems mushrooms. Okay, so I'm going to actually start by taking the mostly still frozen vegetables here, because I just took them out, because I just decided I was going to do this today for the first time ever. And we're just going to add them right to this lovely pan. Just like that. I went ahead and filled it with enough water just to cover the bottom of the pan. Now I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them on the burner and let them slowly cook till they become thawed and to the point of where we can move to the next step. For the purposes of making it somewhat time fashionable, I plan on covering them. That'll let the heat build up quicker. Now, we'll jump back to our delicious caramel coffee latte that I'm in the process of making. Ice. So you're going to want to use a rounded over tablespoon for your Maxwell House vanilla caramel latte mix. Because it's when you get the big heaping spoonfuls, that's where you get the largest amount of the popping sound. This particular case, I have got 2 large cups of coffee in there, which makes about 3 cups. I'm going to go ahead and put about 4 rounded tablespoons in. When you stir it, it makes that nice sizzling sound. Sometimes I put a little extra in depending on how you're feeling. It gives it that nice, rich, and little bit of a bubbleness to it. I don't usually measure the sweeteners. I just kind of eyeball it. That should be sufficient. I always put all the powdered stuff in before I add it to the ice, because once the ice gets into it, it won't have the same chemical reaction because it's no longer hot. So then I'm just going to take and apply the coffee directly to the ice cubes. Delicious. Again, I'm not really measuring stuff, I'm kind of more eyeballing it. I am making a Western type scrambled egg breakfast. But first I am doing a caramel latte. Iced caramel, sugar-free latte. Mostly sugar-free. So, the coffee is complete. We'll go ahead and let that chill off on the side for now. Get a chance to have a drink of that pretty soon. Okay, so our next step would be, we're going to go ahead and take these lovely fresher vegetables and chop them up pretty fine. I enjoy the fresh vegetables as much as I do the frozen. It's just not as practical for me where I don't drive. So I usually just get whatever I've got over at the store there. They don't have to be cut up too fine because the actual frozen ones are not really cut up either. They're just more like slices. So I'm just going to do just a couple quick cuts. Good morning, everybody joining. Gonna whip up some breakfast here in a second. Go ahead and add these all right to this bowl. Eventually I will put these fresher ones in with the other ingredients. The only thing that's been kind of a disadvantage with the healthy eating, or healthier eating I should say, is the prices of stuff is absolutely crazy. Although I did get some really good deals between shopping at Walmart and shopping at Hannaford's. Kind of have to spread it around a little bit. There's no lettuce in this. Little fun joke about everything going on with the lettuce and stuff. Like I said, they don't have to be really all that fine because the ones that are on the stove already are actually pretty decent sized. And I don't mind having the extra bright colors in it. Mocha cold brew, nice. I wasn't actually sure if anybody would be interested in watching this, but I figured I've got all the equipment, I might as well do something fun with it. So here I am. Not a bad little day out there. It was a little breezy, but not too terrible. I'm probably not going to go for any walks today because after the 10.5 miles yesterday, my legs were killing me. But I did get a solid 7 hours and 55 minutes of complete sleep with 0 interruptions. That was kind of nice for a change. Okay. So there I have my fresh veggies all good to go. Put them away for right now. And then the next thing that I'm going to be introducing are these lovely Rotel Original chilies. Pretty much self-explanatory. I drained the juice out. Just gonna add them right to this bowl here for prep at the next point. These are nice because they're spicy with a little kick, but not so spicy that it's going to be like crazy. Thank you for stopping and seeing what's cooking, Eric. Now, I know not everyone is a fan of mushrooms, but mushrooms are an excellent source of vitamins, and they are actually not bad when you cook them the right way. The fresh ones were the best last week. I didn't have time to get fresh this week, so I went ahead and just got the canned ones. Same deal, I'm just going to go ahead and add them right to the Rotel. Once the fresh frozen vegetables are done cooking on the stove, I will go ahead and add all of this stuff to that. And then I'm going to let that all saute on medium heat for a while. Let's see how they're doing. So they came out exactly the way I wanted them. They're not totally all cooked yet, but they are all melted. Just going to add all these lovely, delicious extra flavors to it. Give me a nice, colorful base for the Western ingredients. My favorite part about doing this type of prep work early on is because I don't actually have to put this all together right now. I can save these ingredients and use them for future breakfasts. So we'll let that saute on about medium high or so for, well, let's say about the next 5 to 10 minutes while I'm doing this other stuff. Okay, so now I've got just a little bit of turkey meat here that I grabbed from the cooler at the store, just to add a little extra fun meat to it. I don't always put extra meat in this because I usually make enough with all the eggs that I put in it. Most times I'll do like between 5 and 9 eggs in a dish this big, depending on if I'm going to actually be saving it for multiple days or if I'm going to be eating it like 3 times a day for the next until it's gone. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. The one thing I've noticed about this new type of lifestyle that I'm re-embracing is it can tend to be quite expensive. But if you do it just right, you're able to make your ingredients last quite a while. Like, I got almost 2 weeks out of that vegetable order that I got from Hannaford's. not really worried about using the same cutting board and stuff, since I'm the only one who's going to eat any of this anyway, and since everything is all going into the same dish, so to speak, afterwards. So now I've got my chopped turkey. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Let's see here. So I've let the lovely, delicious iced latte get pretty chilled out. I'm going to go ahead and put that back in the same pitcher that I made it in the first time. Sometimes when you're making a fancy breakfast, it's fun to use a fancy glass. Not like I'm using them for much anything else these days, so I might as well get some enjoyment from the fancy glass. Which, by the way, adding the ice and everything to this mix made it go from 3 cups to a little over 4 cups. So I got enough coffee to go a little while. Today I'll be also using this lovely paste chunky salsa, because this stuff is the bomb. And then if you haven't heard of this yet, this is called Celtic sea salt, and it is delicious. It's a little bigger than your traditional sea salts, so you tend to like sprinkle it in and stuff. One of my friends at work told me about it. I love it. First sip of the caramel latte. Yep, that's how every coffee should start, every day. Alright, so I guess that's going to bring us to the point where we're going to go and check on our other vegetables. They're all still prepping in the back. Yes, that smells amazing. Very rich and very beautiful looking. The colors are like one of my favorite parts. The color for breakfast is a more fun breakfast, in my opinion. So, there is quite a bit of extra liquid in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain some of it. And I have this cool technique where I won't need a strainer, I can just use the lid. Didn't drain it all, because I still want some in there. But that's much less in there. So then we will go on to the next step. For this particular meal, I think I probably will do a good 6 eggs or so. just because eggs are so good for you. And I enjoy them. I know farm fresh eggs are better, but you deal with what you got. I am in no way any type of close to a professional cook, so bear with me. Although who knows what the future holds. Maybe this video will get enough views and somebody's like, hey, I like this guy. I learned this neat trick somewhere down the road where if you take and you accidentally get a shell in there, you use the eggshell to fish it out. You don't have to go like digging for it. It sticks right to it. Thank you, thank you. You gotta have a fancy coffee cup sometimes. Alright, so I put 6 eggs in. That's probably gonna be plenty after everything's said and done. Okay. My cord doesn't reach very far, so that's like as much of the skillet as you're going to be able to see. Obviously wasn't totally prepared to be doing this today. But you gotta have fun. So that's what we're doing. We're having fun making some delicious, healthy breakfast food. And enjoying an iced French vanilla caramel, mostly sugar-free latte. So for the 6 eggs, I'm going to actually add just a 1/4 cup of plain cold water. And then I'm going to beat them up. Not going to get too crazy because I'm about to add another ingredient. Surprise ingredient will be cottage cheese. I know a lot of people like to use cottage cheese in many different things. I've only been eating cottage cheese for like a week. Go figure. Figured it was time to finally give it a chance. So this week I went with the low-fat cottage cheese small curd 2%. I just thought it might mix up a little bit better than the other one did. So for this 6 eggs, I'm actually going to put in a 1/2 cup of cottage cheese. I would just like to thank you all for taking an opportunity and stopping by today and checking out my little video for my first debut of trying to do something like this. I think it's kind of fun, but mostly I think it's pretty cool to see how many people actually take and stop and see. You don't really taste the curd. It kind of like blends in with the cheese. At least that was my experience the first time I had it. It was almost like I had had it some other point in my life without realizing that I had. So then I'm just going to gently blend all the cottage cheese directly in with the 6 scrambled eggs and the tiny quarter cup of water, just to make sure it gives it a nice extra fluffiness to it. It's pretty liquidy right now, but that's okay. It also has made the mixture quite a bit thicker. I had bad experiences with cottage cheese growing up. So I went like over 20 years probably without even ever really trying it. And then people started cooking with it in like lasagna and stuff, and like I fell right in love with lasagna. Wasn't huge on ricotta until I got older. When I was younger, I was so picky when it came to any foods. I didn't really want to eat like anything that anybody tried to get me to eat. I got a teenager who's kind of like that. But I changed, and who knows, maybe someday he might also change. So now that I've mixed all that cottage cheese and scrambled eggs together to make it pretty fine and thin, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to add the turkey meat directly to it. Next, I'm going to add the fresh red pepper and onions that I chopped rather large. The more things I add to it, the thicker the batter seems to get, which is what I like the most about it. I'm going to attempt to cook this on this skillet right here so that I can show everybody live what it's actually doing. I do plan on putting pepper in. I usually do just like, you know, a good couple of few shake, 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 shake. This is where this Celtic salt comes in. Just a pinch of that, and I kind of grind it between my fingers as I'm putting it in. Just another little bit. And more mixing. I got a pepper stuck in my whisk. That was kind of funny. I didn't get to show you in time. So that is pretty much the base right there for the majority of the egg mixture that I will be cooking in just a moment. Let's check on our veggies back here. The salt, man. Ha, that's funny. just to give you an idea of what those vegetables look like. They're smoking. Well, they're steaming, but pretty delicious. So I did 2 big ladles full of those vegetables for that little bowl. Okay, so now the next step is something that I usually do with most of my cooking, especially with like now that I'm trying to eat healthier and be more health conscious aware. I mean, we all make mistakes and we slip and we have things that happen. But jumping right back on where you were is a good way to get back into it. That's the way I look at it. The only thing stopping you between today and tomorrow is right now. So for this purpose, I will be using the Great Value Sweet Butter Salted Butter. Sometimes I will use like a vegetable oil or like a PM cooking spray. But I try not to use that unless I like have no other choice. Just going to salt the griddle, butter it. That's it. So next, to make sure that the heat isn't too high on the griddle, because I want this whole dish to really cook slow together so that it will like saute in itself. Let's see if I can adjust it slightly. It's probably as close as I'm going to dare to move it. Okay. One more quick mixing this all together. Alright, so now comes the fun part. I'm going to add these eggs to the griddle, but I need to do it slow enough so I can build an outer edge so that I do not lose any down the overflow. Which is pretty near impossible to not get it all from stopping going into the overflow. Turn the heat up just a tad. Ordinarily, most people, when they make this, they'll make it into an omelet. I'm terrible about making omelets, but I can scramble just about anything. Thus why I'm making it scrambled instead. Next, I'm going to take my veggies that I have been waiting to add to it, and I'm just going to kind of lightly sprinkle them across the top here. I tell you, this smells absolutely amazing. Yeah, I know what kind of egg rings you mean. I need to get an extension cord probably first so I can actually have my griddle where you can see what I'm doing. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put on a little bit more pepper. One last tiny dash of the Celtic salt. Just because the veggies that we're sauteing behind me didn't ever get a chance to really have much. Some people might not care for it when it gets a little bit brown. I don't mind it, especially considering a lot of that browning comes from that salted butter flavor added to it. But one of the cool parts is that once you get going for a while, pretty much almost completely done cooked. I love my fine china. I just let it finish cooking a little bit on the insides. It's pretty warm in there. cover it in this delicious Fiesta cheese. Sometimes I use the taco cheese, sometimes I use the Kobe cheese. Sometimes I don't even put cheese on it. Like, usually I would put bacon in this too, but I didn't put bacon today because I went with the sliced turkey. Another sip of coffee for all the coffee drinkers out there. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Next I will take and I'm going to finish letting that cheese melt a little bit. Sometimes I eat this just like it is. Sometimes I got these delicious little wheat roll things. Original whole wheat. Make some like breakfast burrito type things out of it. There's no serrated edge, imagine that. So I will create my own serrated edge. Apparently I need to sharpen my scissors too. Try to get them so that they'll stand up for me at least. So if I'm just making like the burritos like this, I can usually get like a good 5 or 6 of them out of it. So I'll probably have this to go with like my lunch. Sometimes I have it to go with my dinner. Sometimes I save it and have some the next day. Down this way. This is where the mild paste salsa, chunky salsa comes in. I'm just going to put like enough of that on just to cover the middle mostly. Because this is almost kind of like a southern type, that's what I grew up calling it. The form of omelet that you would make with these things. It does have a little bit of heat to it. The final ingredient I get is this Daisy sour cream, the squeezable kind. A little goes a long way for this type of a dish. And there you have it. Breakfast. It's like a southern scrambled egg wrap. Alright. It's still pretty warm, but I'm still going to take a bite. Magnificent. Well, guys, that's all. Thank you for hanging out and watching me make this breakfast in this very first attempt at one of these videos. I hope you've had as much fun as I have. Be sure to like, follow, drop some comments, whatever you'd like. Share even if you'd like. That's all for now. I did my 10.5 miles of walking yesterday, so I'm probably not going to go for a walk today. Today feels more like a play video games and relax day. Thank you again for coming by, and I hope you all have an awesome day, and we'll see you again soon. That's all for now. Bye.